Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Hoodie London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. I'd like to start by thanking all my subscribers, my viewers, for all your pleasant comments, for your support, for your kind words, mindfulness, for the lovely comments you leave behind, really thoughtful, interesting comments, interesting theories. I really do appreciate each and every one of y'all. I want to wish everyone a happy weekend. And I'd like to start by saying this is for entertainment purpose only. And I'd like to say rest in peace to the 4 victims in the Idaho murder case and all the victims suffering everywhere in the world. Condolence to the families, and may the correct justice be served. Today I came across something very important that I thought I would love to share with you all. Like y'all know, my subscribers know me, I've been digging into this case, researching, using all my free time, and trying to find out what actually happened and who's responsible, or if there's any other suspects involved besides Brian Christopher Kohlberger. Let me correct myself. Brian Christopher Kohlberger, his trial hasn't started, so he hasn't been proven guilty yet of this horrific quadruple murders. But let me be clear. If Brian Christopher Kohlberger did this horrific quadruple murders, he deserves the punishments coming his way. Because these 4 victims did not deserve to lose their life because of some sick person's choice to end their life at such a young age. After saying this, I would like to explain what I would like to share. To start with, it's for fair use purpose. Please like and subscribe to Anthony Andrew D. Mayer's channel. He did a lovely interview with Lucky, Unfiltered Lucky, who covers a lot of the Idaho cases, and he does it well too. They did a professional interview. I loved the thoughts they were sharing and all, and then I came across this thing that I thought was really important, not only for me, because I don't know how many of y'all have watched this interview, but I am sure Andrew DeMay is a professional, licensed attorney, so he knows these facts. He spoke about the people of interest, like the Jacks. He clearly said, apparently the Jacks, or some people of interest, let me correct myself, some people of interest got basically an interview conducted over the phone with Idaho Moscow police and the Idaho detectives. That sounds so illegal to start with. If that's what's happened, it sounds like some kind of misconduct, because this is a quadruple murder. 4 young people have lost their lives in a horrific manner. No rock should be left unturned, and every person should get a police integration to find out exactly the timelines, where they have been, and what they have been up to that night between the 12th to the 13th of November 2022. I find this shocking. So first I play this, and then we talk.
Other issues. What's number 2 on your list?
I guess number 2 for me would be the way that law enforcement kind of cleared everything right away. So, they 911 was called 11:58, and then They put out an alert. The University of Idaho put out an alert at just after 1 in the afternoon, and then they issued a shelter in place at just after 3 p.m. And then 30 minutes later, they lifted that shelter in place, and they cleared a bunch of people really fast, and it just seemed like law enforcement knew something as soon as they got there.
If that's true, that is just mind numbing. It's just mind numbing. If that is true, I was going to comment on what you said about they cleared people so fast. The two jacks. And some of these people that they cleared right away, they did it on phone call. That's not police work.
Right.
That's not how police work. If that's true, that is just mind numbing. It's just mind numbing. If that is true, I was going to comment on what you said about they cleared people so fast. The two jacks. And some of these people that they cleared right away, they did it on phone call. That's not police work.
Right.
That's not how police work. That's not the way an investigation is done.
Right. Right. That's what makes me believe that they came upon something as soon as they got to the crime scene.
I hope you all heard that clearly. The police cleared the jacks over the phone, allegedly. We always have to say allegedly. But you can imagine if that is exactly what happened, imagine what else was done in this case. So let's picture this. Like I was thinking to myself in my mind, now I can picture this. Allegedly, Jack Showalter, we heard that he drove, that's aka Hoodie guy, we heard that he drove to his parents' cabin. Am I right? If that is the case, that means he reached his parents' cabin after 6 hours, close to 6 hours, because allegedly his parents' cabin is not even in Boise, Idaho. It's further, it's at least an hour from Boise, Idaho. So it took him at least 6 hours to get to his destination, which is a cabin. Nobody saw Jack Showalter. If he drove to his parents' cabin and just say, God forbid he was involved, because I'm not leaving any rock unturned. So let's think about this scenario. If he left and he was involved, then possibly he would have a K-bar knife, which I don't feel is far-fetched. We've seen this young man when he was 15 years old, and right up to now, on his Facebook he has K-bar knives. He took it on his Facebook, by the way, almost 10 months ago, or 8 months ago. Last time I saw his Facebook was 8 months ago. He has a lot of pictures of K-bar knives. We know that he loves hunting. His family loves hunting. His family is powerful. They allegedly pay a lot of funding, which is not sure, but there's a lot of rumors and speculations that the family is really involved with Idaho University. Put that aside. A quadruple murder has happened. The first person you look at are the first people besides the family and the spouses and the immediate circle. The first person you look at is obviously the person who's disappeared, who was one of the last people to see them. All of a sudden, you don't have Hoodie guy. All of a sudden, Jack D is not to be found till next day. Allegedly, he was sleeping. While he was at the corner club, we knew it was the timestamp said 1:25 a.m. at night. The quadruple murders happened between 3 to 4 a.m. was what was stated in the beginning. Later on, and the roommates were not, they were not witness, they were just there. According to, this is exactly Chief Fry's words that I'm quoting. You can go and check his first interviews, because I don't mean to be rude, I can't keep on playing them again, because it's like, literally, it sits in my head. All the press conferences, all the big interviews, all the small interviews, everything that was said, everything that was done, everything that was not said, everything that was not done, everything sits in my head, and I'm sure it sits in all of y'all's head by now. We know the timelines, the previous timelines, 3 to 4 a.m. We know the later timelines. We heard E's mother saying 2 a.m. is the hardest time for her and her family. I brought that up 10 months ago. You have Eva, that is, what's her name? Kaylee's friend, who said on ABC News clearly, she said clearly that I thought to myself, let's not panic. And she was crying, let's not panic. It could have been an accident. And then I called Kaylee's phone and nobody was picking up. And then she said, she was crying, and then she said, that was 10 a.m. That was 10 in the morning. That's exactly what she said. So we know that Eva knows that. Those interviews, for some reason, have been gone off the ABC News. It's really difficult that you find the whole clip where she says that. Now they broke up the interview. Just like the previous timeline of 3 to 4 a.m., all those old interviews seem to be disappearing for some strange reason. That is baffling to me, that a case that it hasn't even gone to court, that the media is trying to take out many things. And I'm sure they're being told. That's according to my opinion. This is my speculations and this is my belief. I believe they're being told to take out some things so that we do not add the whole puzzle. Let's be honest, this is a puzzle. The reason it's a puzzle is not because it's on gag order. From the very second this case started, the crime scene was handled in a horrific manner. It wasn't only the quadruple murders, may the rest in peace, that was horrific. The way the crime scene was handled was horrific. None of the forensic team had on their forensic gear in the beginning. Later on, they started wearing the gloves and mask and a bit of things and all. And they weren't even changing it once they go out. They were coming back in with the same booties, with the same gloves, with the same mask. If they had on, they were sneezing, they were doing everything. We saw that all. That is no secret. It's still on the news. We can clearly see that. Let me come back to Jack. The Jacks. Let's start with the three Jacks. Jack D, Jack S, and Jack K. Let's start with Jack S, aka Hoodie Guy. Hoodie Guy was one of the last people who was all over the girls. He was walking with the girls. What did he say to Adam? All those things. I've repeated it so many times and we know it by heart. So basically, Hoodie Guy was seen with them. Whether he said, Maddie, you know they're going to come and get you, or if he didn't say that, he was seen with them. He was seen with them in the corner club. He was seen with them all the way to the grub truck until they disappeared. They literally did a ghost on him. They left him stranded there basically with the rest of the grub truck. Let's not forget there were serious rumors going on, and I don't believe it was rumors because two girls obviously from, they had to be female, from the sororities that were at the at the corner club, said that they witnessed Mr. Jack Showalter harassing Kayla Maddie, and he was thrown out. This young man was thrown out of Delta Tau Delt for his behavior of sexual harassment. Harassment is more like I should say. Allegedly. And this is rumors that have just been going on and have been getting stronger and stronger and have never been dying out. I will tell you why these points that I'm saying mean so much in this case for me, when I think about it as in the mental health perspective. I haven't seen Jack Showalter. I'm not his therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know anything about him. But I can say with all these things, if they're allegedly true, they all are related to harassments. He got kicked off the corner club. If that is all true, try and understand. We need to go back and check on Jack as his history himself. I mean, like, how was he, besides being kicked out, allegedly for the S harassment. What else was he? Because I heard now and that is a fact, that he was a champion wrestler. Now this guy was a hunter. He was very skilled with K-bar knives. We've seen pictures of him with these K-bar knives on his Facebook. That is a fact. Those pictures still exist on my channel and on many people's channel and on TikTok. So Jack Showalter drove to his parents, who both are doctors. His two older brothers are doctors. The whole family is a family of doctors. Allegedly, he has his parents and some far distant family are defense attorneys. No, not defense attorneys, sorry, prosecutors in Boise, Idaho. That's why I don't want this case, allegedly, to be moved to Boise, Idaho. If that is so, then it's not even a good idea. This case should be removed from the whole state of Idaho, if you ask me, because this is a high-profile case. It shouldn't be around these areas, and especially that it's a case of interest. It seems like everybody in this case has grown up in Idaho. Obviously, everyone seems to have gone to Idaho University. Everyone seems to have lived somehow in 1122 Kings Road, like Scott, or they have gone to the Sigma Chi, like the prosecutor William Thompson. This is a case of interest. I personally feel that's what I feel. There's too many, even Beaker's defense attorney, Ann Taylor, has got an education and got her education and got a certificate in law from Idaho University. So now do your maths. Everyone you see in the courtroom is from Idaho University, or they have some connections. I'm not saying that BK won't get a fair trial because they all are from that state, or they all got their education from Idaho University, but I'm saying that the chances for BK to get a fair trial is very slim. Now let me get back to, I always have this habit of getting carried away, so I apologize for that. Let me get back to Mr. Jack Showalter, aka Hoodie Guy. If Hoodie Guy was interviewed over the phone, now let's picture this. He left the grub truck. Now just say, we don't know obviously where he's been. He lives 1 minute, I would say like literally 15 seconds away from the girls, because he lives in Queen's apartment. We don't know if he made any stops. We saw him, if you pay attention to the grub truck properly, I've showed you many times, a red car stands outside. And Hoodie Guy, when Hoodie Guy leaves is when the red car leaves. And that red car is like, it was flashing before even Maddie and Kaylee left. What is interesting is a red Mazda that was crashed was found in St. Deacon's Avenue, 11 minutes ride from the girl's house. So imagine that. Now that is concerning. You have that car that is damaged, that looked like it's been into a severe car crash. And we saw the forensics team checking the car inside and outside. So we don't know if it's that red car, but just picture, since everything is on gag order, if that is the red car that was used, somehow Jack Showalter drove to his parents' cabin. He drove to his parents' cabin. Just say if he was involved in the crime, just say with BK or with the Sigma fraternity boys or whoever did those horrific crimes. He could have changed his clothes, put them in his car, drove off to Boise, Idaho. Nobody would have known except his mother, because allegedly I heard his mother was the one that said he drove to the cabin. So you can already see that this is a family that is rich, well off. Mother's a doctor, father's a doctor, 2 brothers are doctors. You have a whole family of doctors here in the medical branch, high up. They have a cabin. The son is in the cabin. Say if he was involved, and they know of the son's even involvement. Some parents do what is right and just put their feelings aside. But some parents, obviously, a parent is a parent. If your child comes home trying to tell you, oh, I did not do this crime, I witnessed this horrific crime, I had to defend myself, or whatsoever, I think the first thing that runs into a parent's mind is just keep quiet and see what happens if the police comes and all, and call the lawyer and such things, I'm sure. So this man went 2 a.m. at night, he drove to his mommy. A 21-year-old man, 20-year-old man, drove all the way to Boise, Idaho for his mama and papa. I'm serious. What is the reason? On a Saturday night. I'm sure he was drinking because he was in the corner club. He looked very cheerful. He looked very happy. He was doing that bow down salute to the guy, if you'll remember clearly. All those things were happening. So this man over here, Jack Showalter, should have been someone that the police spoke to face. How could it happen that the police in Moscow, Idaho, the detectives were like, yeah, hello, is it Jack Showalter? Yeah, guess what? We need to take an interview with you. Did you see Maddie and Kaylee? Yes, I did see them. Where were they? There. Where were you last? I was here. I was driving to my parents' cabin. Oh, thank you very much. If you need any further questions, we'll contact you. Goodbye. That's about it. They didn't think that he could be the one who did the crimes? Didn't the police think that he could be the one who had the motive? If he was constantly under sexual harassment, getting thrown out of his fraternity, his parents rented him a flat or apartment right next to the Girls and Queens apartment, he could have maybe be suffering of antisocial personality disorder or anything. But because with all these bad behaviors, he was even, what was it? Yeah, he got thrown out of the fraternity, allegedly for sexual harassment, number 1. Number 2, for throwing dead animals. Now that is typical behaviors of a psychopath. So what if this man, and then we've seen him with K-bar knives. In his Facebook, the pictures, everything, he put that up himself. We've seen posters on his wall of a big gun. This man and weapons are not far away from each other. Trigger warning. So that is Jackass. If Jack D was questioned and cleared over the phone, wow, that's another interesting person. Because this man, let's say he was sleeping at night like he said, what about the next day? What about the next day? Why didn't you call the family? What is the excuse? I don't care if the family said they stripped him and checked him. The family must have seen him the day after or the day after. They didn't tell us what date they saw him. I don't think they saw him the day after the murder. He went, he picked up his car, his dog. We saw him with his auntie and uncle. Jack D and his family were opening up GoFundMes. Explain that. I've been following this case from the beginning. Not for Murphy, opening GoFundMes for the Congalvis family. Why would they do that? And then they shut it down. Why would you go and open an account for people who are already suffering enough? Why don't you give them the choice? Why hasn't he spoken to them? Why did he just take it upon him, he and his auntie, to open the account? And Mr. Steve G, Kaylee's father, closed down the account. So you have a second person here. There's no proof that what's his name, Jack D was sleeping. Jack D lives on the second floor. It's the, kind of, like the second floor, like Xana's floor. He could have easily jumped out to the window from behind and gone through the bunch of trees and come right in front of the girl's house and open the sliding door. He knows the code. Why are these people trying to convince us that none of these people are suspects? All these people were ruled out through a phone call. This is really serious because there were 3 unidentified male DNAs found in that house. That could have been one of the Jacks or both of the Jacks. As for Jack K, the third one, what was he doing sending Venmos, he and his sister? Then he opened, was it a Venmo account, trying to be nice for Mr. Chapin. He opened it for E. How did that happen? Who asked these people who are so busy feeling it free upon themselves to go and open these accounts to open it? What was their motive? So if these people were just asked over the phone, then I'm sure the officers, remember the news said that the Sigma Chi boys were under the microscope. Then I expect them, they must have gone and asked them, each and everyone. So were you involved? Where were you? What was your timeline? Okay, go. Next, same thing. None of them had a proper police integration. I don't think even BK had that. This case, I'll be honest, is a mess. It's a big mess because from the start it wasn't handled right. When it comes to the forensic, it wasn't handled right. So even the forensic evidence they were gathering, the forensic team, how do we know if it wasn't tampered with? How do we know? Then let's come to the crime scene. When the police came to the crime scene, they got the call at 11:58. When they came to the crime scene, there was a bunch of people outside the house. Those bunch of people that were outside the house, half of them was already inside the house. Because in the airmail article, it states clearly how the bodies were found, trigger warning, and that people went up to the third floor. Because everyone seemed to have been gathered in the second floor, in Xana's room, and around those areas where the unconscious person call was called for. But 2 people took it upon themselves to go upstairs and they found Kaylee and Maddie. And I'm sure other people went upstairs too. Now my question is, Kaylee and Maddie's room is very important, where they were found. Just like Xana and E, its timeline is very important. They're confusing us with the timelines because they're confused themselves, or is being done on purpose. I hate to say that. It's one of the two. Maybe they know everything is wrong, but it's too late for them to correct it. So they would rather continue going with what they want us to believe. This whole timeline doesn't seem like it's built on how it happened. It seems like it's built on a white Hyundai. And the driver of the Hyundai obviously is BK for them. So this whole case is surrounding BK, the way I see it. So if these people went up, if 2 people or more went up to the third floor, Could it be possible that somebody, and let's not forget, it was 8 hours or 9 hours before law enforcement was called. The reason I say 9 hours is if you follow the timeline 3 to 4 a.m. that the crimes happened, it would be 9. If E and Zana died at 2 a.m., then it would be 10 hours. Whatever, how many ever hours there were, the surviving roommates, and I'm sure they let people in, anyone could have had access to the crime scene. That knife sheet could have been planted there, or the touch DNA could have been planted there. Think about that. It's very possible. The people on the crime scene could have done it before the police got there. I'm not talking about the police, I'm talking about the students themselves. Or the surviving roommates could have done it. That is, if it's not Brian Christopher Koberger who did it. But there's a good possibility that Brian Christopher Koberger actually did it and left his knife sheet there by mistake. But it doesn't make sense either. I believe there were more people involved, and I won't be surprised if BK came there because he was called there, or because the surviving roommates, allegedly, or whoever their friends were, whoever was involved in this crime, planned to frame him. So they must have called him there. That's the only thing that can make sense. But to summarize this, Law Officers is the channel of Andrew D., the attorney. Please go like, share, and subscribe and watch it. It's very interesting. And listen to that properly again. If that is the case, that the jacks and people of interest, most of them is police integration, was done over the phone, imagine that. Because as a cognitive behavior therapist, I know that our skills are we are supposed to watch our client, the person in front of you. Not only what they're saying, how they're behaving, how they're reacting. Somebody could say, yes, I'm doing fine, but their expressions could show and the behavior could show totally the opposite. It's not the same when you're doing an interview over a person who could be a person of interest or could be a suspect over the phone. The police should have gone to the jacks wherever they were or whoever else they interviewed. Another shocking thing is it was Thanksgiving. They let everyone go home. I can't believe that. I still never get over that. They let everyone go home. The killer could have been one of them. Think about that. People were away for 2-3 weeks. Maybe the suspects involved. Maybe they never came back after that. And the 2 surviving roommates who knew about the crimes while they were happening, because allegedly they were texting each other. Another thing, Dylan clearly said she heard rummaging from upstairs. Think about that. And she thought it was the Sigma Chi boys. That's why she called the Sigma Chi boys to come over before the police. She called Hunter Johnson or no. Why would she think it's the Sigma Chi boys? She thought there was a party upstairs. Why was there many red cups lying on the living room? Think about that. I explained to you all in one of my clips how there were like 6 cups, red cups, and 2 of them was flung on the table. You see the signs of red liquid on the wall. I'm talking about where the good vibes picture is. Was there a struggle in the living room? I believe there was a struggle. You see the forensic team taking pictures of the corridor especially. And I heard, and it's written in many articles, that E was found between the corridor and Xana's room. May he rest in peace. So to summarize it, the crime scene was conducted very unprofessionally. See if it was tampered with all these people running around the crime scene for 9 hours before the police came. Many people seem to know about or knew about this quadruple murders before the police. We know that. Forget about WSU Kim. Forget about Dot. Ever told ABC News. How did she know it? How would he ever know it? She said, I thought it was an accident. I said, let's not panic. I called Kaylee's phone and nobody was answering. It was 10 a.m. That's what she said. Then you have Dave who said that he heard it at 9 a.m. You have Jasmine Canoodle telling 48 hours. The Xana's friends called her in the morning. Put all this together. Forget about WSU Kim. If y'all don't believe her daughter, let's put her and daughter aside. Put everyone else together. All the sororities and fraternities knew it. And DM said she heard rummaging upstairs. She thought it was the Sigma fraternity guys. And she thought there was a party upstairs. Now then, remember the 4chan anonymous article. It could have been one of the boys who were involved trying to take credit. Or it could have been, I've heard even it could have been E's brother. Possible. Somebody was either trying to snitch on them or either somebody was trying to take credit for what they did. We saw 4 figures running from 1122 Kings Road towards Sigma Chi. Everything we see seems to be happening between 2:26, that's when the call started to Jack D, right up to 3:16. And then it turns quiet. 3:15. 3:12 we see the figures running. 5 to 3, right up to 3 minutes past 3. For 7-8 minutes you see a car, its headlights flashing in front of the house. I've showed it many times and it's blurry, but you can see it's from Law and Crime, you can see it's from News Nation. All those clips are coming out from the start, and they even told us, look how airy it is. That was when the crimes was happening, and it was 3 a.m. Then they changed the timelines. Why would they change it? Is it possible that another white Hyundai Elantra 2011 to 2013 was seen around the place? I believe that. Could have been possibly 2 white Hyundais going around the place. The police and the FBI have told us what and which car they have pinged and which device they were pinging, that it was Brian Christopher Koberger. They didn't tell us about the devices around the areas that night. They said it was quiet that night. I don't believe. It was proper traffic. We heard a female yelling, stop it, stop. That was 2:56 and 12 seconds. That is when Saeed was stopped at the Banfield. Then you have the 3 kids from Banfield. Where were they coming from? Were they coming from Linda Lane? Were they coming from 1122 Kings Road? 1122 Kings Road, or were they coming from Taylor Avenue? They didn't even know which party they went to. One of them said Matthew, but they took time too, said they did not know. They were busy on their phones. There was so much going on. One of them had Van shoes. I know many college students wears Van shoes. That's not the point. But there was a lot happening with these 3 boys. One had on something that looked like a black long glove. Allegedly, that's according to, these are all my opinions. These are not facts that I'm stating here. These are what I see, guys. And we all are entitled to what we see. But facts like ever talking on ABC News. Another thing that is important that I really need to mention is Kaylee's sister, Olivia. When she says that they did everything right. They were following the buddy system. My sisters took the Uber ride, private share driver ride. My sisters were doing everything right, she said, and then she said they went home, they locked their doors, and they let the dog out for potty. Very strange. We heard dog barkings all in Linda Lane. Dylan mentioned barking in an affidavit. Very interesting. If they let the dog out to potty, did something happen to the dog? Did someone lure the dog so that the girls would come outside and that's how they would sneak themselves inside? Did the attack happen that way, allegedly? Just a question. And whatever happened that night, I personally believe it was pre-planned. Look at what's happening in the grub truck. I don't think it was just something that happened last second. I think it was something brewing and brewing. And there was things brewing between David L. and E. That was said by many people, allegedly, and we see that in the 4chan too. They said they would do this in 19 minutes. Let's not forget. That is all my opinion, but I'd like to summarize it with the 2 jacks, and I believe other people of interest were spoken to over the phone. Imagine that. Some of them I'm sure weren't even in town, like Jack Schwartz. And I'd like to end by saying, let's not forget, there were 3 unidentified male DNAs found in the house. We saw how the prosecutor, William Thompson, got upset when he said, if you don't have it, we don't have it. The lab did not give us back the 3 unidentified DNAs. That's strange. Please let me know what y'all think in the comment. But it is shocking, unprofessional, unheard of. They messed up the whole case if they took the police integrations over the phone. Why would they do that? Didn't they have time? They got the FBI, they got help from different police forces. They got help from the Idaho police. This doesn't make sense. Please like, share, and subscribe. Condolence to the victims. And I'd like to end by saying, I'm still digging deeper into the LinkedIn account of Kaylee, because I really believe that the motive could be there too, with Kaylee, because Kaylee got most of the injuries. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.